Welcome to today's webinar, everyone. And today I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about discrepancy reports and random audits. And we're going to discuss how to also set up a manual inventory report, which you can then export to Excel, for example, if that's something that you would like to do. We're going to discuss what are discrepancy reports, and random audits, and what you can apply them to, and how to run them. So let me pull up my browser and take a look. So what exactly are discrepancy reports in SAFE? Well, they're really just inventory reports that you can run for your audits that will show you, once you're done scanning in items from a storage location, if any discrepancies were found. So why did we do them? Well, in the case of discrepancy reports, maybe you want to do a full inventory of everything in your evidence room because you're retiring or taking on a new position and you're going to be handing off the reins to someone else, and you want to make sure there are no discrepancies before you do anything like that. So given that circumstance, a discrepancy report is the way to go. And so to do this, you're just going to go ahead and get logged into SAFE. And once you're there, you can go into Tools. If you are an org admin or if you have appropriate permissions to do so, you'll be able to access the tool menu and then go into discrepancy reports. And once you're there, you can click New Report. And then the system's going to ask you to name the report. And so let's just go with Test Discrepancy Report. And then you're going to be asked for a storage location, which you can either scan the storage location's barcode if you printed those off, or you can enter it manually. And let me see here. And since I don't have any of these printed off, I will show you how to do that manually. So I'm going to go into Tools and Storage Locations. And here are my storage locations that I've created. I think we can go into Building B here, Shelving Unit A, and there we go, Shelving Unit A, Shelf A. So there's some things in there. I'm just going to grab that barcode ID, go back to Tools and Discrepancy Reports, click New Report, name it something, and then enter in that barcode. And then I'm going to click Start. Okay, so SAFE is telling me where I need to be scanning items in from. And so now I need to start scanning some barcodes. And let me go ahead and start doing that. So there's my first barcode, second barcode, and third barcode. Now there are a couple more items in here, but I am not going to scan those. And maybe we'll just throw in a curveball here. Let's just put one in, just a random one. Okay, so when you get done scanning all of your barcodes, I'm going to click Run Report, and let's see what we get. Okay, here we go. So here's the name of my report up top, and SAFE is telling me that there should have been 5 active items in the one storage location that I scanned. I scanned 4 items, and unfortunately for me, SAFE found 3 discrepancies. Now, the top section here is where SAFE is kind of giving me the benefit of the doubt and saying, look, we think you scanned a valid barcode, but we couldn't find that in the system anywhere, so there's something wrong there that needs to be fixed. In the second section, SAFE is telling me, okay, well, there should have been 2 more items in that storage location, but those 2 items were not scanned. There's something wrong there that needs to be fixed. So now you have a couple of choices. You can either save this as a PDF, print it out, and then use it as a checklist to go down to fix all the discrepancies that were found. Or you can leave it up on your screen and go and find these things. And when you find them, maybe you want to add a note by clicking the little piece of paper with a pencil. And we can add a note to these items as we go down our list and fix them. And when you're done, you could save that as a PDF. And ultimately, you could have a supervisor sign off and date that, and you can stick it in a logbook to refer back to, or perhaps for accreditation purposes, and go from there. All right, let me step off of here and then go back into discrepancy reports. And just to let you know, discrepancy reports are going to be saved in the system. So if you ever need to go back and refer back to these, you'll be able to do that. You can just click on the piece of paper here to view the report that was ran. And you can see when it was created, who created it, how many items were scanned, etc. Now you can hide these reports by clicking the eyeball symbol here, and we can hide the report so you're not looking at it on your main screen. But if you go into hidden, you can see that I've run quite a number of these in the past. And so they're always going to be there so you can go back and reference them whenever you might need to. Okay, so let me talk to you a little bit about some of the items that were scanned in the discrepancy report. Those items, when you go back, if you view those items, and I think I should be able to pull up one or two of those. Okay, 24. Oh, whoops. Let me go back into the case. Go to my items, and I'm just going to view one of those items that we scanned. And now I'm going to go to the scan history of that item. And so once you scan an item in a discrepancy report, that item will then have a scan history associated with that. And there it is. So you'll always be able to go back and prove that, yes, indeed, you did scan that item when you may have said that you did. So there's proof of that in the item scan history. Okay, now let's take a look at random audits and how they differ from discrepancy reports. So I would suggest if you're doing like a full inventory of your entire room, you may want to consider doing a discrepancy report. A random audit, on the other hand, would be maybe you want to just randomly audit things multiple times throughout the year. Maybe your supervisor or your chief wants you to spot check things every so often. And typically we see this done every, I would say, 3 to 6 months. Maybe do the big ones like guns, money, or drugs if you're a police agency, or maybe you're an e-discovery firm who wants to randomly audit hard drives or laptops, for example. To do this, you're going to go into Tools, Random Audits, and click New Report. And then you can call it something. Let's just go with Test Random Audit. And unlike a discrepancy report, which is based off of storage locations, random audits can be based off of item categories. Now, you can choose what you'd like to randomly audit, whether that's money or drugs, firearms, laptops, whatever you want. Or you can select from all item categories, which I think I'll do that. You can specify storage locations if you would like to do that as well, including sublocations or items contained in a container. Now, 99% of the time, you're going to be randomly auditing items that are checked in. So you can uncheck, checked out, and disposed of. You can randomly audit things that are checked out and disposed of to verify something isn't in those locations if it was, marked as checked out or disposed. So that's why those are there. And we can perform our random audit by either percentage or number of items. And why don't we go with a number of items? Let's just go with, 4 items. And we'll click OK. And that is going to take us to the random audit scanning page, where SAFE is telling you where you should be looking for these items. And you can go to these storage locations and scan those items' barcodes and move on to the next one and the next one, etc. Now, the section here on the right, you can choose to use it or not. That's entirely up to you. It's not required, but it's there if you want to use it. So if you find these items in under 5 minutes, if they're found in the proper location, if they're labeled correctly, etc., you can use those, but you don't have to. And when you're done scanning in all the items barcodes that you've gone down this list and found, just click Run Report. And this is what you're going to get. Now, we're not scanning in anything, so we have a little bit of red here. Because we didn't scan anything, SAFE found 4 discrepancies, which is correct. And you have a couple different choices here. You could save that as a PDF, print it out, and use that as a checklist to go down and fix all the discrepancies that were found. Or you can leave this up on your screen, and as you go down these items, in the same way that we did in discrepancy reports, in random audits, you can add notes to these items as you fix them. So you can click on the little piece of paper with a pencil, and you can add your notes to the items and click on the checkbox to show that they have indeed been fixed. All right, let's do the last one here. And when you're done fixing everything, now you can save that as a PDF, print it out, have a supervisor sign off and date it, and put that in a logbook for future reference or perhaps for accreditation purposes. And in exactly the same way that discrepancy reports are saved, random audits are going to be saved as well. And so you're always going to be able to go back and reference these whenever you would need to. And I did this one earlier, so I'll hide that. And now we're just looking at the one that we just created. And so that is a little bit on discrepancy reports and random audits. Now let's just say, for argument's sake, you would like to get a list of all of your items that are currently checked in that you can just kind of go through and reference them as you wish. For that, you can just do a simple search on items. And if you search items, you can look for things that are checked in, for example. You can specify a particular item category or not. And since I want a list of everything that I currently have checked in, I'm just going to go down here and click search. And that will bring back a list of all of my checked in items. And there they are. And so now with this list, I would like to export this list. So I'm going to, I don't even need to select any of the items. I can simply go to the export box, and you can export either to CSV, comma separated value files, or Excel. And you can export a subset of the search results by either percentage or number of items, or you can export the whole thing. And I think I'll just, since there's just 61 items, I'm going to click export, and I'm going to export all to Excel. And when I do that, that is going to take me to the export jobs page, where my job is queued up, ready to go. Looks like it's in progress right now, and it's already half complete. Let me click the refresh icon to the right of menu customization. Our job has been completed. Now I can click download, the word download, in the download link column, and it's going to let me save a copy of that file in XLSX format. So I'll save that. And let's open that and take a look. Whoa. Okay, and there's the file, which I can barely see. So in the top left-hand corner, well, actually, before we do anything, let's go to View. Let's zoom in on that a little bit. It's getting better. There we go. Now I'll click in the top left-hand corner between the A and the number 1 to select everything. Then I'm going to put my cursor between the A and the B column until I see a line with arrows pointing horizontally, and I'm going to double click. That will automatically space everything out. Now I can start getting rid of the columns I don't want to look at. For example, Office. I don't need that. So I'm going to right click on the column header A, delete that, and go down the list like that for everything that I don't need. And when I'm satisfied, then I can save that and print it out, and maybe I want to use that as a checklist to go down to kind of inventory my items. And so that is just another way you can do things in Safe. All right. And that is a little bit on discrepancy reports and random audits. Thank you all for joining me today. Looks like we got finished a little bit earlier than I expected. It was a fairly short webinar today. So once again, I thank you all for joining. I hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving coming up, and you eat lots of turkey and pass out on the couch somewhere. Thanks again, everyone, for joining the webinar, and hopefully you'll be with us again next time. Bye-bye.